Today I'm going to be breaking down Pick Up by Tiwa Savage, where as usual I'm going to be talking you through the various elements that I'm picking up on as we go through it. Now before we do go ahead and actually get into the video, if you have a track or an artist that you would like me to review, break down, whatever it is that you want to call it, then go ahead and pop that into the comments below. Also, if you are interested in my setup, i.e. headphones, mic or camera, I've put links to those in the description, so if you want to check those out, then you can go ahead and do so. And then finally, we are on TikTok now, so if you want to head over there, you want to give us a follow and show some love, then by all means, feel free. Let's get it!
Don't be mistake. Take it by faith. Don't inshallah you.
Me, I know they understand anymore. Everything no they like it day before. And I know you're working from 9 to 4. I go to take that now you never come. Cause somebody...
Okay, right, as usual, let's go ahead and unpack what we've heard so far. Okay, so we get opened up, we've got these big stacks, layered and kind of traditional African style vocals. But if you pay attention, there's actually some very subtle percussive elements that are just kind of lying underneath that. As we get further along in the intro, we then get the kick drum and those percussive elements become a lot more prominent. We also get the bass in there, and as we get towards the end of the intro, we then get that drum transition that takes us into Tiwa Savage's first verse, where we get her vocals, and we also get a set of keys in there as well. Now there is a slight change that happens between the intro and the first verse, and that is when the first verse hits, you notice that the bass gets cut out. So we go from the intro where we get a glimpse of that bass to the first verse where it's removed from the mix. Now, listen, you guys know the sketch by now. We're going to go back and we're going to listen to those elements. Right, there are those big vocals. And listen to the subtle percussives. Right, there's the kick drum. Bass, transition, keys.
They understand anymore. Everything no they like it day before. And I know you're working from 9 to 4.
Layer vocals.
I go to take that now you never come. Cause somebody be trying to take all of me from me. Man, I don't know what to think. Make I no go poco. Ring it if I blow, but I no go let go. I lay on my 10 toes forever we go settle. No go let the devil.
Okay, right, pay attention to what happens here. So they take us out of the first verse, they bring us into the pre-chorus, and the way that they do that is they give us a cut and they give us that same kind of drum roll transition that we had in the intro. But in the lead up to that cut and that that transition happening is we get this kind of country and western style type guitar that comes in, right? And it's just a really nice touch to throw into the instrumental. And if you listen hard enough, you can hear that guitar repeat again in this pre-chorus. Now, there are a couple of other things that happen within the pre-chorus that I want to talk about. So firstly, you can hear Tiwa Savage's lead vocal, like stacked, layered, you know, really big, really wide, similar to what we had in the intro. But there is also an additional vocal element that comes in, and it's buried really far back in the mix. So you're gonna have to listen really hard to hear it, right? But it's like this ooh, right, and it just stays consistent like that. And it also sounds like, to me, that it's also harmonized. Right now, I could easily be wrong on that because, like I say, it is very hard to hear, but it's definitely in there, and it definitely sounds harmonized to me. Again, we'll take it back. Let's listen to those elements.
They like it day before. And I know you're working from 9 to 4. I go to take that now you never come. Cause somebody be trying to take all of me from me. Man, I don't know
that guitar.
what to think. Make I no go poco. Ring it if I blow, but I no
now
go
listen
let
to
go.
that underlying
I lay on
vocal.
my 10 toes forever we go settle. No go let the devil call up be my happiness. And that's some G for me. I see they call you honey, but you know picking my call no more. You know they picking my call no more.
Yeah, that is an absolutely banging touch. You hear that subtle kind of follow-up vocal from Tiwa Savage there. Right, not particularly needed, But it's, again, I talk about this a lot in terms of production. Sometimes, these things aren't necessarily needed to make a huge difference within the track, but they add them, just to kind of add some sweeteners in there. And again, just to bring something extra, right? Just listen to that.
But I no go let go. I lay on my 10 toes, forever we go settle. No go let the devil call up be my happiness, and that's some G for me. I see they call you honey, but you no picking my call no more. You know they picking my call no more. No more. Don't you think it's in my heart? I've been calling you. You know they pick up. You know they.
Yeah, this absolutely bangs, man. We're getting another follow-up vocal there from Tiwa Savage. Again, doing the exact same thing as what it done before, just adding a nice additional touch. But listen to what happens, right? So they've taken us out of the pre-chorus into the chorus now. And we get a slightly different transition. We actually get a double transition. So we get do-do-do-dun, do-do-do-dun. And then boom, we go into the chorus. Obviously, when we hit the chorus, you can hear that synth come in, which again, absolutely banging touch. Really love that sound. But one thing I've noticed, and guys, listen, I would really like your opinions in the comments here, right? Now, it sounds like to me, those layered and those stacked vocals that I was talking about in the pre-chorus. So when I'm listening to them here, right, it sounds like they're a lot more tighter now to Tiwa Savage's lead vocal than what they were in the pre-chorus. Now, it could be just a simple case that they have made them tighter, right? Or it could be a simple case that they've just removed a couple of layers to kind of give it that effect. But they definitely sound tighter to it, and I think it's a good choice because it makes Tiwa Savage's vocals within the chorus stand out that little bit more. But definitely hit me up in the comments below and let me know your thoughts.
No go let the devil call up be my happiness, and that's all
right, double transition coming up.
They call you honey, but you know picking my call no more. You know they picking my call no more.
There.
No more. Don't you think it's in my heart?
Right, synth in now.
You know they pick up.
Bangs, mate.
Don't you think it's in my heart? I've been calling you. You know they pick up. If I ever did you wrong, check him out. Cause I know if it take this pain anymore. Go got to shit for me. If they get to me, need my mental help.
Yeah, that absolutely bangs, but I'm close to swearing here, right? That's how much it bangs, right? Okay, so first, there's two main things that I kind of pick out here. So the first one is listen to the keys in the second verse, right? They are different to the keys that were in the first verse. So in the first verse, right, we get these keys. They're playing similar chords, right? If not the same chords, but the keys in the first verse are just dun, like this, right? They're standard keys. You listen to the keys here, and they've got a little bit of a pulsiness to them, right? So they're more like dun, 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 dun. And what they do is they kind of, because they've got that pulsiness to them, it adds a little bit of an additional sense of rhythm to the track. Now, another thing to pay attention to here, and I will definitely encourage you to break your headphones out in this one, right, is you listen to the harmonies. So the first thing about the harmonies, which I really, really like, is that they're actually in a lower range than the lead vocal, right? But what they do with those harmonies is instead of keeping them front and center, so they come out of both sides, like at the same time, so left and right, what they do is they pan those harmonies left and right. And it's just a really nice touch. Again, doing something just slightly different with the harmonies to just bring something extra to the track, right? Just listen to that.
Don't you my heart?
Those vocals bang, mate.
If I ever did
right,
you
listen
wrong,
to the keys.
Cause I know if it take this pain anymore. Go got to shit for
harmonies.
Me. If they get to me, need my mental health very strong. What you want? Tell me, what do you want? I've been dreaming for 2 months, but I still no head.
Again, bro, they do the exact same thing there. So what they do is they take that original concept of the harmonies, where I spoke about they're kind of like in that lower range and they're panning left and right. But what they do is instead of just kind of repeating that, they go, do you know what? Let's use the same concept, but let's do something a little bit different. And what you notice is that the actual range is higher. Now, another thing that I just heard as I paused it, right, is we get a transition. So we're now about to go into the pre-chorus, but the transition is different. So instead of getting just that kind of normal drum roll, what we get here is we get a cut, we get a hit, right? And then we get this cheeky do-do-do-do-do-do-do, like on the keys. And that's being used to transition us into the pre-chorus, right? Just listen.
If I ever did you wrong, check him out. Cause I know if you take this pain anymore.
First harmonies.
Got to shit for me, it did get to me. Need my mental health very strong. What you want, tell me what do you want.
Higher ones coming up.
I've been dreaming for 2 months, but I still no hear no compliment.
Hear that?
But I no go let go. I did on my 10 toes, forever we go settle. No go let the devil call up be my happiness, and that sound G for me. I said they call you honey, but you no picking my call no more. You know they picking my call no more. No more.
Sit back in now.
You know they pick up. No more.
Follow up.
Don't you play games with my heart. I've been calling you. You know they pick up.
Nice outro. You can hear those vocals. Listen. There, listen. I knew they were harmonized, bro. Perfect. Big vocals.
You know they pick up. No more. Don't you play games with my heart. I've been calling you. You know they pick up.
Absolute bangs, mate. Okay, that's it for me. If you want to see more breakdown and analyses videos, there'll be things popping up on the screen right now. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you in the next one.